What's up there, fellow gaming warriors? Chief Rocky here with another episode of Empyrion Galactic Survival. Today is finally, I 100% mean this, the closing of my second season of the Wolf server. And how I choose to do this is basically going over all of my equipment. Basically a fleet review. And we're going to start down here on the planet's surface. Sorry if I'm a little nasally, guys. I'm kind of feeling sick. Got a little bit of a headache going on and a little bit of a, sniffle. Anyways, so for those 74 subscribers I got that might have seen my first episode of Empyrion where I played in single player, this was my first creation in Empyrion ever. This is the little beast drill. This thing is designed basically off of like farming equipment, what I think farming equipment in the future would look like, right? High seat, big drills, but very sleek, very nice curved edges. Everything just looks really, really, really good. There's a lot of ammo here, ammo containers, and then a lot of harvest boxes. You can harvest for days, and if you need to stop and hop out, of course, you got your little minigun back here, fridge. You got your little constructor right here that you could use to create stuff, and O2. Okay, and of course this is the Mark II because I did add some stuff to it during the Wolf server. The actual Mark III I had on the Wolf server actually replaced this with Type 2 laser drills, not or Tier 2 laser drills, not Tier 1 mechanicals. And then the Mark II, I added this, the actual hook. I call that the sky hook. Basically, it's a landing gear turned upside down on a tube, so I could grab this from equipment from the bottom, and it kind of hangs there. I'm able to drop it in from anything, like the Thunderous Might. I wouldn't use the Thunderous Might though to bring this in. I have some other ideas for equipment to bring more utility vehicles, to bring in less military type equipment like this. Alright, so the other vehicle that I want to show you guys is something that actually came out of pure necessity. Right, this thing is a mule, pretty much just a pack mule. Very fast, very efficient vehicle at what it does. This is the Little Devil. I ran into a problem during the season where, the main pirate base was way over yonder, and I was over here in Forgium, but I wanted to move stuff very effectively, but without flying around in the dark. That plan was stupid dark. I mean, you couldn't even see like three feet in front of your face dark, and nothing really light-wise would help. But this piece of equipment did. It was quick, it was maneuverable, it bounced around a lot, but I mean, it got the job done. It has these two cargo containers back here that actually holds quite a bit of stuff on both of them. So I was able to jump around from one end of the map to the other end of the map very, very, very effectively. This thing was a lifesaver. The Chisels and I came up with the design, but the Chisels test drived him, and he was bouncing all over the place. He had an immense amount of fun with this thing. He had a Little Devil, again, came out of necessity. Alright, so I'm going to talk about this later, but I do want to touch base on this, and this kind of epitomizes my whole topic on this, right? Nothing you build is the end-all be-all. It is going to change. It's going to adapt. You're going to find new uses for it. You're going to change it. So this right here, HY2, which my HY stands for Hover Utility, which is this right here, the Hover Utility Drill. But this is the Hover Utility Type 2, or Mark 2, or 2, the Type S. So basically, it's the Little Devil, the Scout version. Okay, not the Sport version. I know, Type S, blah, 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 whatever. Okay, this is the Scout version. Now, common sense dictates I wouldn't use this for any type of insurgency, any type of any type of clandestine op. Let's put it that way. This is used to scout around the planet and mostly hunt for meat. It's my hunting craft, right? And what I do to change, excuse me, I added this minigun on the side so I could basically aim around and shoot whatever I wanted. And then, of course, this minigun turret on the top. So how I would use this was, and why this vessel came to be, is I was finding myself hunting a lot to get meat and other resources that I needed that I just couldn't find anywhere else. So instead of hopping out of this thing and getting swarmed by beasts, right, and all I really had was either a pistol or a sniper rifle, because I got killed so many times, I decided, you know what, I'm going to build another one and reinforce it so I could go hunting. The main problem was that you couldn't hunt near the bases because they were so chock full of equipment that you would have to literally go miles away from the base to hunt, which put you in a precarious situation of just being stranded out there and constantly killed. So I came up with this design. It worked very, very effectively. I can scout around the planet very, very effectively as long as I don't get too close to POIs. This thing kept me safe. Again, there's a refrigerator and an ammo pack back here to replace the cargo boxes right here. Okay, last for this season would be the infamous Relic. Alright, this is the Relic Mark II, my light tank, my main tank right now, because it's pretty much my only design at this current moment. Again, this is another thing that I would really point out that I had to change, right? Again, no first plan ever survives first contact with the enemy, okay? This was a box, an ugly, scary looking box, which I kind of morphed to kind of look like the Grant M3 tank off of World War II, which was a very good tank when it came out. It was a very effective tank. Again, later, the Germans, reevaluated their situation and built better tanks to counter those. So I wanted something that kind of had that that protected main cannon, right, and then a lot of faster firing, but just as equally dangerous weapons up here. The two plasma guns, right? And then the Mark II also added this, the Skyhook again, which I purposely added to this because I knew how I wanted to put this piece of equipment in battle, but I hadn't built it yet until the end of the season. It was still effective. I mean, when we did that gold raid, me, the Chisels, Spange, Lucy, Brian, Exo, we demolished. Well, there. I mean, it was only really Static Heron at the time, but I mean, we took that base pretty quickly. And most of it was the CX-23s giving us air support, but these things proved to be very, very, very rugged, very rugged. A lot of them took damage, and a lot of them got home. I know mine in battle took a lot of front thruster damage and back thruster damage, and I was unable to navigate the terrain effectively, but I did recover the vehicle because of the Skyhook. I took this Liz out and captured it. I brought it back for repairs. But these things, even on the planet with the worst gravity and the worst terrain, we're only using 50% of its power usage and navigating it like a champ. I mean, if anything, this thing it will get the job done. Okay, it's relatively cheap, it's relatively small, with good firepower, great survivability, great agility. I mean, it's an all-around tank. So like I said, it's a cheap, very effective piece of equipment. And now, because of the Skyhook, and now because I have the Thunderous Might, right, the delivery aspect of the vehicle is now increased the lethality of the vehicle tenfold. Okay, so now I could hover this thing above your base and just drop it in. Come on, guys. Again, sometimes it's not just about the equipment being this huge, stupid, big tank. Sometimes it's about the equipment that you bring around it that actually amplifies its ability to do its job. You don't need this one man floating tank that looks like a giant fortress. Sometimes you just need an army of tanks, but have effective delivery methods, right? Effective resupply methods with other support vehicles that would actually get the job done. All right, guys. Well, that kind of covers the English. That covers the ground vehicles. What we're going to do here is we're going to hit the pause button. I'm going to head up to space, and then we'll get started on showing you guys the space equipment. All right, guys. Be right back. All right, Gaming Warriors. So we're back up in space, and I'm going to go over some of the ships and equipment in the fleet used specifically, mostly in space. All right, so we'll cover my favorite, my first ever ship. Actually, this is my second ever ship I ever designed in any space game, but the Spiderbite. The Spiderbite was designed both in Space Engineers and then brought over to Empyrion as literally a small fighter. It's really not meant to do anything other than scout recon and dogfight other small fighters. It is a very beautiful craft. I like it. It's very small. It's very sleek. It's very fast. It's nimble. This thing is incredible and has significant firepower. Right here with 2 rocket launchers, 3 Gatling guns, and 2 homing missiles. This thing does put a hurtin'. So far, in dogfights that I have flown in this, I am 3 out of 3. So, pretty successful. Again, like it says, LRC-1, it's a light reconnaissance craft. Not really used, again, to assault a base or anything. I have used it before. It's not very effective. It will get the job done, but you do stand a good chance of getting your cockpit knocked out. But otherwise, a very effective craft for what I designed it for. Alright, next we have this Liz, right? Probably voted the ugliest ship in all of Empyrion. This ship continues to be a mainstay for me, not only in Space Engineers, but also in Empyrion. It's just an incredible, durable ship. I could take it anywhere. I could land it anywhere. It withstands any environment. It holds a crap ton of stuff. It gets around fast. It's small. It's nimble. It's incredible. I do like to say that I am the king of building tiny. I can really compact everything and sandwich it in and make a very utilitarian design, minimalist design, and really just make it work. And this Liz is probably one of those. I'm not going to go inside, but you can see here where I literally have this small ship. Literally has 3 decks right there. That's 10 cargo containers in the front. That is impressive. And I would love to show you guys one day the amount. Actually, if you watched my build, then you would know the amount of fuel cells in here is just phenomenal. This thing, with thrusters off, sitting still, will be powered for 179 hours. That is impressive, guys. But this is literally just a light logistical craft. It is only meant to move supplies from one area to the next very rapidly. It's only meant to move supplies that are like emergent, for emergent use. Not really meant to resupply an entire base or a military, but emergent use. I mostly use it to move supplies when I'm building a base, build a base, and then run back and get the ammo. That's mostly what I use this for. One reason is because of the feet. I designed it in Space Engineers because of the problems I was having in the game, but I found that these feet are actually also very useful in this game as well, from keeping this ship from tipping over when I turn the thrusters off. Alright, the next ship is the Midia, right? The PC-1 Midia, the patrol craft, the shark of space. This ship is just beautiful, well designed. I would like to take full credit for designing the ship, but I would be very deceitful to you guys if I would say that. So I'm not. Midia himself designed it. I literally brought it over from Space Engineers to Empyrion because I loved its design. I loved the way its functionality, its maneuverability, and its survivability. This ship is incredibly resilient. Its current loadout does not yield a very big punishing damage to the enemy. It is an irritant. It will damage things, but cripple an entire fleet. One of these, no. Maybe 2 or 3 of these would definitely do it, but not one of these. This ship again is a very compact, small ship. There's actually 3 decks in there and quite a bit of ammo space. This thing will put a hurting on any small CV or any type of CV SV. Will probably get a pounding from this thing. Again, it's a patrol craft. It's very fast. It has a lot of thrusters, as you can see here, but its main speed is its forward speed. It has really good pitch and yaw too, to be honest with you. But this is what we're looking at right here, right? 3 large, not extra large. Can't use those on the server. 3 large thrusters. These things propel this thing an extraordinary acceleration, unheard of by any other craft on the server, mostly because of its lightweight, small stature, and just incredible thrust ability. And again, this thing also has a very incredible fuel loadout. This thing holds a lot of fuel, and I have it on a conserve mode. All my ships are on a conserve mode. These things will all pretty much be good for 179 hours, with the exception of this one. The next one's Thunderous Might. This one can last up to 200 some. All right, it is this one is, if we went off of fuel economy, the Thunderous Might right now would win, and that is because it is designed specifically to hover. If you did not see my last upload where we did a combat test, basically a survivability test with Spange and Static Air, this thing is designed to hover and just drop equipment, both SVs and HVs, right? And then continually drop troops as we run out of equipment. It's literally a floating command center. This thing can stay in place for literally up to a week in enemy atmosphere if it is undisturbed. Alright, disturbed, it does have some defenses, but as seen in the video, it is not a juggernaut. Okay, even if I did put your weapons on it, they won't fire in the atmosphere anyway. So again, this is another utilitarian design. It's not going to win any awards for beauty, but like this Liz, this ship is basically a supply utility vehicle, more of a utility than a supply vehicle, because it is, as you can see, ASC, an atmospheric assault craft. Okay, it doesn't do the firing, but it does kind of provide the initial launch pad for a ground assault. So more of on the utility side than on the supply side. I can't wait to bring this into the Wolf server and utilize it to its full effect. Of course, we're going to have to follow the rules, which we build a base, but nothing says once you have a base you can't launch your attack from this, as long as there's a base on there. So I can't wait to utilize this to its full effect. Other than that, yeah, I have the shipyard here, which really isn't a vehicle, but it is what I utilize every time I build a base. This thing definitely needs a massive overhaul because its fuel consumption is beyond belief. Every time I come over, it's dead. But yeah, this is my most favorite building, not because of its design, but because I just use it all the time. Alright guys, that's all I really have for my fleet review. I wanted to really do this after every season of Wolf server, because I'm really adapting my fleet as I go, and every lesson I learn after every season of what my shortfalls were and what my strengths were, I'm adapting my equipment. I'm not getting rid of it. The relic was changed after my first season with wolves into the relic it is now, and it's a very effective craft. Delivery was kind of where I was at. I was using other people's dropships. I found it very cumbersome to land it on these very hostile, rigid, rugged terrains with the dropships that I was provided. So the alternate means for me to do this was, again, the Thunderous Might. I always knew I was going to build the Thunderous Might because of the way I built the tanks with their, basically their landing gear at the top. I knew that was going to be the method of delivery I wanted for the relics. So I always knew that the Thunderous Might was going to be the platform I was going to use to and manipulate that ship to be that kind of platform, to be what I wanted it to be, which was that assault vehicle. Okay. Same thing with the Midia. It actually changed. I kind of actually took most of the heavier weapons off of it to fit the server rules, but it doesn't make it any less deadly. I added this Liz the next season because I realized I didn't have a way of actually moving supplies other than this, and then the Spiderbite in the first season, so I brought that in. Then there's still other things that I know I need to bring in, which is the hammer drill from Space Engineers, which was my mining ship. Redesigned some heavier tanks to be tank on tank, and then some strike vehicles like these CX-23s that I just lack. So that's the main reason I'm doing this, is to show that your first design is never an end all be all. All right, it's like the old proverb that they say in the military. Okay, no first plan ever survives first contact with the enemy. You gotta overcome and adapt. So, and that's one of the reasons why I want to do this, so you guys could follow along and see kind of how my fleet is growing and how I'm building more equipment to support the other equipment, which makes it more effective because of its delivery and a means of supplying itself. Actually makes that other piece of equipment way more effective on the battlefield. That's all I got for you guys. I hope you enjoyed. Chief Rocky out.